Good evening and welcome to Northbeat. I'm Robert Holden. We begin tonight in Nunavut. A man is facing multiple charges after an hours-long standoff with police in Iqaluit on Saturday. The 38-year-old man is facing weapons charges, including discharge of an air rifle at a peace officer and assault with a weapon. The suspect is also charged with breaching his probation and uttering threats to cause death or bodily harm. Nunavut RCMP say they received a call about a firearm being used at a home on Tasilik Street and issued a citywide shelter-in-place alert. Dozens of police officers were at the scene throughout the day, including an emergency response team from Ottawa. The alert was canceled after the suspect was taken into custody. No one was injured during the incident. Nunavut police say the third man who escaped from jail in Salouit on Friday has been captured. Officers previously said they believe the men escaped by using a shoelace to open a latch in their jail cell. Police say they arrested one of the men Friday evening, and a second suspect was arrested Saturday. In an email to CBC News, Nunavut police said the third man was arrested Sunday evening after a tip led to his location. After 4 days, the community of Pangnirtung, Nunavut is lifting the state of emergency caused by a loss of water services. A pipe failure at the hamlet's water treatment plant prevented delivery trucks from being filled. All of the homes in the hamlet rely on trucked water service. The government of Nunavut had to send shipments of bottled water. In a PSA, the hamlet thanked everyone who assisted during the emergency. A boil water advisory for the community remains in place. NWT's premier says a recent meeting with the U.S. ambassador to Canada was an educational one. RJ Simpson met with Pete Hoekstra in Yellowknife Sunday. Simpson says Hoekstra was eager to learn about the inner workings of the North. The two spoke about the current relationship between Canada and the United States and how the ongoing trade war is affecting the territory's diamond mines. Simpson says recent tariffs on India have fanned the flames.
I believe 90% of diamonds, rough diamonds, go through India to get cut and polished, and then the majority of diamonds, eventually cut and polished diamonds, make their way into the United States. And so that 50% tariff on India is, it's impacting the price and the cost of diamonds. And so we talked a bit about that, and I don't think we're going to get an exemption for diamonds out of this meeting here, although we did raise that that would be very beneficial to us because we have such a reliance on that industry. But we let him know that it is having a material impact on the people of the Northwest Territories.
Hoekstra met with Indigenous leaders in Yellowknife on Monday. He's been meeting with leaders across the country in recent months. The owner of a Caddy diamond mine in the NWT has applied for financial help from the Canadian government. Burgundy Diamonds says it's eligible for up to $150 million in tariff relief from the federal government. As we told you in the previous story, the U.S.'s 50% tariff on Indian exports is pushing down the global market for rough diamonds. But global demand for rough diamonds has been down for more than a year. Burgundy has had to devalue its stock of rough diamonds and faces a potential cash crunch with little more than $7 million on hand to finance operations. An advocacy group for First Nation students in the Yukon is appealing a recent decision by the federal government. The group's Jordan Principle funding was pulled. That money funded nutrition programs in Yukon communities for the last 5 years. Chris McIntyre has more.
The Yukon First Nation Education Directorate's executive director says this decision is going to have a very negative impact on over 1,000 Indigenous children and youth across the territory.
I've had families approach me, and I wear it a little bit heavily, a lot of it heavily, approach me in just really tough circumstances. You know, a single parent who's saying, I don't know, it's going to be rent or food? Which direction do I go? Those are tough pieces to take in.
A Tronic-Wichan citizen here in Dawson City says programs like the nutrition program are essential, especially as the cost of living continues to rise.
And if you're going to say together today for the youth tomorrow, then you have to put it into action. My dad now and me have to go buy school snacks and lunches when we could be spending that money on payments, on electric bills and heat.
Jordan's Principle was established to ensure that First Nations children have equal access to government-funded programs and services no matter where they are and without getting bogged down in jurisdictional disputes. Earlier this year, the federal government announced some changes to the funding eligibility requirements. Still, Bennett believed that the First Nations Education Directorate's proposal checked all of the boxes to keep the money flowing.
I think in the denial response, what they had placed is we didn't demonstrate substantive equality was being utilized and or met for, which is one of the main components of Jordan's principle, and we disagree with that. They also had used a couple of rationale that it's the first time we've ever heard it. One was that this is considered bridge funding, and also that Jordan's principle does not fund income assistance, and this programming has never ever been identified and or rationalized as this over the past 5 years that we've been implementing it.
Bennett says the federal government has just under 30 days to respond to the Education Directorate's appeal before it takes the matter to the Federal Court of Appeal. CBC News requested an interview with someone from Indigenous Services Canada, but nobody was available. In a written statement, the department said Jordan's principle is not intended to replace government income assistance or universal programs. The statement went on to say it can support families with income supplements such as rent, groceries, or utilities as a temporary relief measure to address immediate risk factors to children. Yukon's Liberal MP Brendan Hanley says he's heard and seen firsthand the benefits and impacts this rural nutrition program has in communities. He says he fully stands behind and supports YFNED's move to appeal the decision. Chris McIntyre, CBC News, Dawson City.
Tomorrow is the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. This year marks 10 years since the Truth and Reconciliation Commission released its final report and 94 calls to action. But questions remain about how much progress has been made. Experts say some actions have moved forward while others still face significant delays. Carl Cardinal has more.
The TRC was created as part of the Indian Residential Schools Settlement Agreement. The Commission spent 6 years traveling across Canada and collecting testimony. Its goal was to document the history of residential schools and provide calls to action to address their legacy. According to the non-profit Indigenous Watchdog, 14 of the calls to action are complete, 22 have stalled, 42 are in progress, and 16 have not yet been started. Nathan Obed is the president of Inuit Tapiri Kanatami. He says children's wellness programs are part of the calls to action, but funding is an ongoing challenge.
The federal government has done some good things, but we still struggle with things like sustainable funding for the Inuit Child First Initiative. So the Government of Canada still is finding its way on ensuring that there is equity for Indigenous children and that the mistakes of the past are not repeated here in present day.
Obed also said there is still a long way to go with the church and its ability to truly provide all records. That's something Paul Ignaut, vice president of Nunavut Tungavik Incorporated, agrees with. Ignaut says there are challenges in holding perpetrators accountable.
Because Canada doesn't have any extradition agreements with like France, where most of these priests came from. We can't put them to justice. We tried. We've gone to France and talked to the head of his church there, but it's so hard to bring the people that abuse children.
Maurice Switzer is a citizen of the Mississauga of Alderville First Nation. He has also served as a member of the Ontario Human Rights Commission. He says reconciliation requires long-term commitment beyond political cycles, with systems in place to ensure accountability and continuity.
Once something moves forward, let's say in issues that are considered really important, and I think reconciliation certainly is one of them, as it's a human rights issue. I think they can't be subject, to political whim. We have to make sure that that's not the case.
Almost 10 years after the TRC final reports, progress on the calls to action continues, with advocates emphasizing that long-term solutions and accountability mechanisms are essential for meaningful reconciliation. Carl Cardinal, CBC News, Iqaluit.
Tuesday is also known as Orange Shirt Day. It honors Indigenous children who were forced to attend residential schools. But as the orange shirts themselves gain in popularity, more designers and businesses are creating their own. And that's prompting the official Orange Shirt Society to act. Juanita Taylor reports.
They're online, in stores, and in schools. The Orange Shirt.
Orange Shirt Day, Every Child Matters, was created to honor survivors and their families and to remember those that never made it home.
Phyllis Webstad is the residential school survivor whose orange shirt was taken from her as a 6-year-old child, a gift from her grandmother for her first day of residential school at St. Joseph Mission in Williams Lake, BC. It's her story that is the origin of Orange Shirt Day.
My story was chosen to be the story to bring about change in Canada.
Now, thousands of Canadians wear orange shirts to mark the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation.
It hit social media and just blew up to become the Orange Shirt movement.
That movement has sparked interest by designers and companies to create their own shirts.
I once did a 10-minute search on the internet, and I found 10 countries selling Orange Shirt Day, Every Child Matters shirts.
But some companies have been selling shirts that don't meet criteria set out by the Orange Shirt Society.
It's maddening to see that happening.
Webstad says shirts must be orange and include the message, Every Child Matters. And the society is now taking steps to stop appropriation.
The Orange Shirt Society applied for the trademark Every Child Matters in May of 2020. And we were successful.
Look at the intricate style of illustration.
Orange shirt sales at this store are going steady. Owner Janet Pacey collaborated with an Indigenous artist to create this year's shirt. But Pacey says she does it for the artist and the community, not for the sales.
It bothers me. There's people making money off of this. It's about honoring a group of people that deserves to be honored.
Webstad says stopping the appropriation will take time.
Guaranteed next year we will be out there and talking more about this.
Events will be held on Tuesday across the country to mark National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, no doubt in a sea of orange. Juanita Taylor, CBC News, Yellowknife.
Students in Whitehorse's Porter Creek High School are making and selling their own orange shirts, and in the process, sharing what Truth and Reconciliation Day means to them. CBC's Gordon Loverin tells us more.
It may be good curriculum for a home economics class, but for these students, learning to make orange t-shirts for this special day brings out belief in a better tomorrow.
Just acknowledging what happened and moving forward to a future where, with understanding and where we can all just live in peace.
Avery is with a bunch of students working on making orange t-shirts from scratch. She's one of 4 students whose design will be silk printed on them once they've been dyed. This is the 5th year their teacher, Kyla Greaves, has presented this project for the students.
I just tell the designers to design something about what truth and reconciliation means to them, or what the what the every child matters means to them.
There's a process for dyeing t-shirts, some insider tips.
And we want to make sure that these are going to go in without any like wrinkles. So open them up nice and big, and then you can drop them in. With every shirt, give it a little swirl around. You can already see the beautiful color, but we need to keep dyeing this for a couple hours.
Avery's design reflects her own desire to one day go on to art school, but she wants Canada to know that the Indian residential school system didn't win.
We are still here and we still matter and we still have a voice, and as next generation, I'm going to try my best to share it.
The shirts made here are sold and proceeds all go to the Committee on Abuse in Residential Schools. Gordon Loverin, CBC News, Whitehorse.
The future is everything. stories of incredible ingenuity, dedication, and some extraordinary teamwork. This is parenthood.
Want to get the most out of CBC News? Use the app or cbcnews.ca for live breaking news on the stories that matter to you. Whether it's local, national, or around the world, turn to CBC News.
It makes sense that they get a larger share, or does it?
Welcome to the Greenbelt.
All of this, just single detached homes.
Yes.
What do we know? I think we can explain.
About that with Andrew Chang.
Although the NBA currently is flooded with Canadian players, this was not a reality.
A new immigration law.
This story, it's directly tied to all of those families who made a brave choice to come to this country.
My favorite word.
Tariff! How seriously are you taking this threat?
It's the uncertainty that's the biggest issue.
Canada, we got you.
Elbows up!
Welcome back. The federal government has announced a new allocation of more than $13 million to the Yukon to provide French as a minority language and a second language education from preschool to post-secondary. This announcement was made at the French language high school in Whitehorse, Mercier, and confirms the funding up to the 2027-2028 school year in what's called the Canada-Yukon Agreement.
More than just words, language is a living expression of culture, a way of seeing, sharing, and shaping the world around us. Franco-Yukon community holds a proud and growing place in our cultural landscape. As the third highest French-speaking population per capita in Canada, this community is not only active and engaged, but deeply woven into the social, economic, and cultural fabric of the territory.
These types of agreements for minority language education have been in place with the government of Yukon for more than 50 years. In what's being seen as a remarkable switch in who is leading the charge against the climate crisis, China has pledged to start cutting emissions and boost its wind and solar power capacity. This as the U.S. under Donald Trump is pulling back on its commitments. Joanna Wagstaff looks at what all this could mean for the globe.
Did the last nation you'd expect just jump to the front of the climate leader stage? China, the world's biggest emitter at 31%, had only ever promised to slow or plateau emissions growth, a constant sticking point at UN talks. But that suddenly changed.
Reduce economy-wide net greenhouse gas emissions by 7% to 10% from peak levels.
For the first time, China is pledging actual cuts. And while historic on its own, some experts think it signals something even greater.
It's actually less than I would anticipate from the Chinese government, just given the pace at which solar and wind is expanding and the pace at which electric vehicles are expanding, that it's possible that this is a kind of cautious projection of where they're going to be.
When it comes to investing in renewables, might surprise people to know no one has invested more than China. All of this comes at a time when U.S. leaders are saying things like this.
This climate change, it's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion.
This is a total upheaval in who we think of as climate leaders.
People need to throw out all of their old expectations of climate and energy politics. Opponents of climate action, we're told, tell people China isn't going to act and there's no point in us doing anything without China. And now that is completely flipped on its head.
If you're wondering where Canada fits in, Ottawa has pledged a 45 to 50% cut below 2005 levels by 2035. But China's move could shift the global momentum.
We're at a crossroads where we could make the mistake of doubling down on fossil fuels the way that the Trump administration is trying to do, rather than catching up with the rest of the world that's accelerating away with renewable and clean energies.
But let's be real about some of the caveats here. The science says China's pledged cuts still fall short of keeping warming below 2 degrees, and the baseline peak isn't fully clear. Still, for the first time, the world's largest emitter is pledging real cuts. Now, we're still waiting for the fine print, but even this cautious step is enough to spark a new debate on who will set the pace for global climate action.
That was the CBC's Joanna Wagstaff in Vancouver. Researchers are looking at how cosmic rays impacted the Earth's landscape prior to the last ice age. In Nunavut's Kivalliq region, they mapped out how the Laurentide ice sheet moved, melted, and shaped the land we see today. Tharsha Ravi Chakravarthi has more.
For the first time, researchers tested their theories about the past thermal conditions under the core of the Laurentide ice sheet, also known as the Keewatin Dome. That means they looked at how cosmic rays impacted the landscape before the last ice age in the Kivalliq region. The Keewatin Dome ice sheet disappeared 10,000 years ago, and Kivalliq is known to have been under the thickest part of the dome. Isabelle McMartin is a scientist with the Geological Survey of Canada. She's been studying weathered terrains in Kivalliq since the 90s.
We collected samples in the field of the surface rocks and boulders. And we sent them to laboratories in Canada and the United States to apply innovative dating techniques that had never been used in this region.
McMartin says they used surface exposure dating, which measures how cosmic rays react with the rocks. Tommy Tremblay is a geologist with Natural Resources Canada. Though some valleys in Nunavut were eroded by the ice thousands of years ago, he says some areas were actually preserved.
We just were able to confirm that under what is called the Keewatin Ice Dome, there is places that had very low glacial erosion rates over the last 1 million or 2 million years old.
That means the Laurentide ice sheet barely touched the land beneath it. The team also created maps of their study area, and they shared their findings through public talks and school visits in the region. They are now looking at other ways to study the rocks they collected. Tharsha Ravi Chakravarthi, CBC News, Toronto.
Churchill, Manitoba is known worldwide for its tourism. Now the expansion of the town's deepwater port is being touted as a potential nation-building project. Year-round Churchill residents say they'd love to see more jobs, but as Karen Pauls learned, some worry that the new port proposal will jeopardize their unique way of life.
Are you coming?
David Daly spends a lot of time on the land as a dog sled racer,
Ready? Hike!
tourism operator, and hotel owner.
Let's go now. Come on now.
Like many here, he sees the benefits of more economic development at the port.
We hope better jobs for our kids, better jobs for our grandkids in the future.
But Daly also worries more commercial shipping could impact tourism. People come from around the world to see the polar bears, beluga whales, and the aurora borealis.
That a good girl.
He hopes there will be more consultation with locals.
I hear all the time that people say that tourism won't save Churchill. Well, tourism has saved Churchill. I think the people that have the tourism relationship here in town, I think that they're a little apprehensive about, like, is this going to be rammed down our throats?
They worry, in particular, about an all-weather road in the Churchill Plus proposal.
With more accessibility comes, things like drugs.
If a road is developed into here, I truly believe we will lose our charm.
Churchill Mayor Mike Spence is also the board chair for the Arctic Gateway Group, which owns the port and the railway. He says the goal is to find balance.
Tourism's not going to pay the way. Our government has realized that we need to invest and we need to build Canada just like they were building Canada back after the Second World War. It's really about Indigenous ownership and reconciliation that's critically important. We'll help pave that way.
The Churchill Plus proposal has the support of the Prime Minister, Mark Carney hinting it could be on the list of the second tranche of projects he's set to announce before the Grey Cup taking place in Winnipeg in November. Folks here will be watching. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Churchill, Manitoba.
And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, head to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. I'm Robert Holden. We leave you tonight with students from Inukshuk High School in Iqaluit taking part in a walk for Truth and Reconciliation Day this afternoon. We'll have a special show for you tomorrow night for the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Have a great evening.